Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. If you didn't get the inside joke, I'm sorry about that. You missed it. It was a good one. I know some of you guys would like to be a part of one day. Let me tell you something. It's good times to be inside those jokes. But we are here to talk about, of course, over and unders. We have some totals, whether it be passing touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards. This is the Dirtbag Dave show. This is the show he created. So without further ado, let's introduce my co-host, my buddy, my pal. No, it's not Dave. It's Justin Bowerly. What's going on, Justin?
Well, I was just choking on whatever I ate right before the show, so that was great. And then I look around to get my water and forgot my water today. So
this will be a just great let show. You guys know, you guys aren't muted in the background when I'm doing my pre-thing, and you guys always make noise, always.
Yep.
But it's okay. It's all right. I'm used to it by now. But before we get into the business, let's get into the business, which is OUSFF Pod. If you're following us for the first time, watching us for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are here every single Wednesday night on the Finstock Sports Network. And, of course, our own channel, OUSFF Pod. I believe 81 subscribers strong, right? We hit a little wall there, but we had some great guests. So if you're a first-time listener or viewer, make sure you go back. We had Chris Allen on from My Fantasy Life. We had so many people. I can't remember past yesterday, honestly, Justin. So,
oh my God, do you need a list of people that we've had on?
The D Unit, Dustin Ludke, I know that.
Yeah, we had Justin Taylor on.
Yes,
or
of course.
JT Brew, Seth Keller with
Seth
all
Keller,
the stats and analytics,
who tagged us the other night, told me that he promised me the Jamar Chase stats, and he got him out there, which proved my points that Jamar Chase is not as good as everyone thinks he is. It is what it is.
It's almost like my bold take had something to do with that too.
Almost like your bold
take. We got one of your friends coming up next week.
Who's that?
Off the Shine
next week. Let's go. Off the Schneid next week, guys. He's great. Best ball underdog. You need to follow him at Off the Schneid on Twitter as well. But we're promoting a guest, and we have a guest tonight. We have a guy who's a rookie specialist. We have a guy who thinks he knows everything about the rookies and CJ Stroud. He called it before anyone else did. So that's why we're talking about CJ Stroud today on the show. Do you want to get it, Josh Wingate? Come on in, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Let's go. Man,
so should I be in on this inside joke, or should I not know anything about it?
You're not cool enough, Josh.
All right, cool. I'm down for that.
So how are you enjoying the Dirtbag Dave show?
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm so excited for this great lineup of Dave. Excited to hear his opinions. He's going to be great on here. So I can't wait for him to get on here.
Honestly, I sympathize with Dave. It's hot outside, and he worked. So he just got home, and I get it. If it was me in his shoes, I would do the same thing. I'd be like, guys, we're postponed. Justin, remember when I was sick and I said, but 2 minutes or maybe a second before the show, I'm not doing this shit. I just logged off. You remember that? I sympathize with Dave.
I almost had to text you and like, I can't do the show tonight, literally at 7:50. So
tonight?
Yeah.
Oh man. Are you okay?
No, I am fine. My dog decided to chew up a toy and we thought he ate some of the plastic. He did not. So
all right. Dog saved. I wish my dog would eat plastic. After keeping me up 2 nights in a row with this stupid storm. But we're not to talk about my dog Waffles. Let's talk about some over-unders. Let's talk some fantasy football. But Josh, before we do that, we haven't spoken to you in a long time.
No.
What you been up to? What you been up to? What you been doing?
Nothing. It's been great. I've literally just been chilling, trying to get my voice back, because as anyone that has watched the Beer and Sports or any of the draft coverage from the network, it's not been good. So my voice is getting to a point where it's somewhat nice, but
the shows or your voice?
My voice. It's been gone.
It sounded like you were talking about the shows have not been good. I'm like, oh God, Josh.
The voice has not been good. The voice has not been good. I had laryngitis. I had strep. So like it's since January, no voice. So yeah, haven't seen Kimmel since January. I feel like
I've been here. Where you been?
relaxing.
We've
Yeah,
had
I
like
know.
18 shows since January. Probably more
Yeah.
than that, actually.
I've been doing draft
4
coverage.
times 6. 24 shows.
So draft coverage. That's where I kind of want to get to the point. You are the draft guy on this network. You're the person I actually go to when I need questions answered because you do know so much about these rookies and the incoming guys. But I think you know too much, and I mean that in a good way. Hold on, I mean that in a good way in the fantasy terms, where you're like, man, this Devin Duvernay kid's good, or man, this Darnell Washington kid's good. But you're not. It really doesn't translate into the fantasy realm, and that's where you and I kind of have this roadblock of like, come on, Josh, like offensive lines don't matter. Still, these running backs still
Let's not do
produce.
that.
Well, I mean, but it's true. It's factual. They still produce with a bad offense, yada, yada, yada. And you're like, yeah, but like Jalen Warren and Najee Harris doesn't have like any offensive line. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
and Najee Harris didn't do anything without an offensive line. Still hasn't done anything.
he's had some decent years.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into some over and unders. That was awkward. That was an awkward one right there. Right. That was a little, we feel the tension.
Yeah.
So the first one, we're going to start big with quarterbacks. The biggest quarterback out there right now, CJ Stroud. His over-under, according to DraftKings, is 4,150.5 passing yards this season. Now, you guys are asking, the viewers and the listeners, well, how does this translate to fantasy football? This is not a betting show. This is not a gambling show. Guys, this is important for your fantasy projections. You want to know if these guys are going to throw for what X amount of yards or pass for X amount of touchdowns. So, guys, here's the question. CJ Stroud improved from his rookie season and achieved the 4,100 or 4,150 yards because last year he did not. I'll start with Justin.
Yeah, last year he finished with 4,108 yards for the season, which was pretty good for a rookie. Finished as QB 11 in fantasy football. He's projected 4,300 plus yards this season. So I would expect him to hit the over on his passing yards. It's a passing league. They don't really have like a great running game, and they just have good wide receivers. So between Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, the random Noah Brown week, I think CJ will hit the over easily for 4,150.
Easily. Josh, do you
Dude,
have
he's going to crush it. He's crushing it. Are we kidding? You sent me over these, and I said, really?
There was a better one that you sent actually, but we talk about him too much.
I want to talk about Stroud. Yeah, because we talk about that guy too much. And Stroud, Josh is here, and Josh is the like. When I say we all missed on CJ Stroud, he's the only one who didn't. Just wanted to say that.
CJ Stroud is going to improve on his numbers from last year. 63% completion percentage, improving that, and with that improvement, it's just going to add more yards to his game. So for sure, he is crushing this. I can see him getting 4,500 yards.
Ooh, 4,500 yards. Do you guys know what Mahomes did his second season? Full season, of course, right? He's rookie's year. He only played one game. His first official year, he scored. He threw for 5,097 passing yards. The very next year, he was down to 4,031. Didn't even beat this over. I mean, the greats can have down years. It's possible. Now, I'm talking about guys coming from their rookie year to their sophomore slump. That's a huge thing people actually like to talk about. Baker had a sophomore slump. It's been happening.
Did you just say Baker had a sophomore slump?
Or did he? Or when the year he set the – hold on.
Why are we putting Baker and C.J. Stroud and Pat Mahomes in the same breath?
I'm just saying, in general, we have slumps at
One
sophomore.
of them was the first overall pick, so
yeah.
That should not have been the first overall pick.
Well, he was though, so you can't change that. That's why he's brought up. Jerk. But that's the reason why he's brought up. And if on this show we don't talk bad about Baker anymore, so Baker's a good guy, like he's a stud, right? He is.
That's not even the one that like I was gonna mention about being
like,
closer to the over under.
Tua
is projected 4,100.5. His projected yards is only 4,104. So like
who's projecting
that over under is a little bit more interesting.
Who's projecting these? Who's the projector?
Fantasy websites.
So that is an interesting one because I might hit the over on that one too. Because Tua's working with Tom House, and Tom House is the greatest QB coach in all of football. So,
Do you guys know how many people hit this number last year?
41-5.
Yeah.
No,
probably 3.
You're gonna tell us though.
Yeah, 7. More than that, Josh. Tua, Goff, Dak, Josh Allen, Purdy, Mahomes, Jordan Love. 8 did it in 2022. So, like, I think only a third of the league or less than that does it.
Yeah, but CJ Stroud is going to put himself in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. People will put Jalen Hurts in the top 5. CJ Stroud is better than Jalen Hurts. So he's going to crush this, and I think he could get that 4,500 yards easily. Like, we're going to talk about him and Pat Mahomes in the same breath.
Ooh, that's pretty. I hope you're right about that. The reason why I picked Stroud though was specifically because you're coming on and I want you to talk good about him. But I have some good little stats, some little things I found out today. The Texans played at a 7th fastest pace on offense last season. That's going to help with the yardage. CJ Stroud missed games last year too. He would have hit this number if he didn't miss those games. Staying healthy is key with the addition of Stephon Diggs. Joe Mixon helps that offense whether you like it or not. This is really important. This year coming up, they play 12 games inside out of the 17. Last year alone, CJ Stroud in outdoor games only averaged 221.8 points per game or yards per game. Indoors, 299.9 yards per game. Big difference from outdoors to indoors. So he really, really takes advantage of playing indoors. The only problem with this is these December games. He's at Jacksonville, so good weather. Houston Dome. At KC, tough weather. At Houston Dome. At Tennessee, tough weather. I mean, he's got some tough weather games coming up in December, late in December, that could hold him off on this passing. Because, come on, man. He's not going to get the 4,100 in November.
Is he really a weather guy? He used to play at Ohio State.
I'm just telling you the facts here. His outdoor games, he loses five points on his percentage throwing outside. That's a fact last year. He was 65% indoors, 60%. I know. I'm just telling you the numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, if he's on a hot start, he better get on a super hot start because I can see the numbers drastically falling in December. I'm just saying it happened to Tua. And I'm not saying they're the same player, but it does happen. Tua was on this rocket ship up, couldn't sit him, and then all of a sudden you're like, why are we starting Tua? That could happen with CJ Stroud down the line. We don't know. Right? We don't know what's going to happen. And that's a real thing. These games mean something in December. And if he's playing outdoors and in December against tough teams, divisional teams, he could struggle. And that could be the straw that breaks the camel back. I think he's going to beat it, by the way. That's just my thoughts. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
If I had to put my money on a player to win MVP, I think I'd put it on CJ Stroud this year.
That's strong.
Yeah, I believe in him that much, and he's just a gamer. He's always going to elevate his play when big games happen. I think you got Joe Burrow. Right now, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow ahead of him. Again, I think the only player better than him in the NFL at quarterback when it comes to ability is Pat Mahomes.
And I like to see it. Justin's so mad right now. He wants Stroud to suck so bad.
No.
I see your Twitter. All right, so we're all on the over on that one.
I don't badmouth.
Well,
Stroud.
actually,
I didn't
your
use
Twitter,
Stroud's name on Twitter.
Your Twitter today's been weird. You're fighting against Android people. Which
yeah,
I don't understand what's happening.
It's been a weird day for me.
It's like I'm going against the Android users. I'm Team Apple. It was really weird, Justin. But
it's been a really weird day for me today.
Have you noticed this? This guy's team. Anyway, all right.
You never know what you're going to get out of Twitter. That's the thing. Like
you never know.
Football, Colts related, Bengals related.
Get out of me.
Apple.
Absolutely nothing.
Yes, I'm off X as well sometimes. All right, passing touchdowns. This one's harder. This one's very tough. Justin Herbert over under 22.5 passing touchdowns in 2024. Josh, you start first.
This is harder. I'm going to go under. I think he's going to get around 22 touchdowns. So I'm going to hit that under because they're going to be a run-heavy team this year, just because of the nature of the coach. And I'm just not a fan of their offensive coordinator. He's garbage. So I see that he's going to improve from last year, but he's going to just hit the under in this aspect.
You mean Greg Roman, who has the passing offense that only surpassed 22 touchdowns 3 times in the since 2011? His teams, where he's been the offensive coordinator, has only thrown for 22 or more touchdowns 3 times since 3 serious relationships ago. He is 30th. His offense is 30th or worse in passing attempts per season since 2011. The guy doesn't throw the ball. In a league where passing is king, passing yards, air yards, everything is king, the Los Angeles Chargers took a step back into the Stone Ages. I am all out on Justin Herbert, and I can't wait till this entire staff gets fired and we get a real coaching staff in here. And I'm being dead ass serious. I'm going the under just for the fact that the coaching staff is going to be, we might as well take our cars, saw out the floorboards and yabba dabba do it and pedal ourselves. That's their offense right now. It's going to be awful. Who they got? Joshua Kelly. I don't even know who they have. Vitali. Who's that guy you traded for? Justin?
Vital.
Yeah.
Vital.
Yeah, freaking Joshua Pollard, Quentin Johnson.
In the Ravens running back room.
DJ Chark. Will Dissly. Hayden Hurst.
Oh, Vital.
Are they going to score 22
Isaiah
touchdowns?
Spiller, though. What's going on with Isaiah Spiller? Isaiah Spiller is a stud of a running back from Texas A&M. I don't know. But they did bring over one of the 2 best runners in his offense that led the league in rushing and had the number 1 rushing attack in football with Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, if he can stay healthy.
Oh, yeah.
But they have speed. Jarrett
Herbert's
Patterson.
going to rush for 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm definitely on the under right here. This is where you don't want to look at projections and just make your picks based on that, because he is projected 26 touchdowns, which is so odd. JJ McCarthy has never thrown more than 22 touchdowns in Jim Harbaugh's offense. He threw 22 in the last 2 seasons. Herbert hasn't thrown more than 25 since 2021 when he threw 38. And that was his sophomore season. Ever since then, he's been on a decline, partially because of that offense, but and the reason why we have a new head coach and everything in Los Angeles. I cannot see him throwing to nobody. I mean, they lost Keenan Allen, who's their touchdown target. I mean, again, Quentin Johnson and Josh Palmer.
Yep. Darius Davis, Will Dissly, Hayden Hurst. They lost 300 total. I hate vacated targets. I hate it. But I'm going to use it here because it sounds good. They lost 320 targets. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Gerald Everett, Mike Williams. Gone.
The only way I could see him hitting over 22.5 is if Lad McConkey is this year's Puka Nacua.
The only way I see them throwing 22 touchdowns is if their stupid running game gets stopped at the 1 and he has to throw it up to a random wide receiver, like on the goal line, because you guys know those goal line carries are going to go to the running backs.
Gus Bus.
And yes, Josh, J.K. Dobbins should not be named in any kind of, they were on the top rushing team, and he wasn't there.
Can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy.
And Gus Edwards is a straightforward runner.
But if there's one guy I would take a flyer on in this offense, it's Isaiah Spiller. Like, cheap, bench him. When Gus Edwards gets hurt, is inevitable with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Someone randomly comes up from the depth chart and takes over, and it's going to be Isaiah Spiller because he really is a stud of a running back.
Gus only missed time in 2021 and 2022. He didn't even play in 2021, but other than 2022, he's played in every game in his career except for his rookie season. So he's had 3 full seasons out of the 5.
Hey, Josh, stop hating on Gus.
I don't want to hear when he's inevitably going to be injured. That's J.K. Dobbins right there.
He's played 1 out of 3 full seasons.
No.
What's going on?
He's played in 3 out of 5 full seasons.
Well, we're looking at recency here. 2021, 2022, he missed games.
That's fair.
2023, he played.
He obviously had a serious injury in 2021 that delayed his start time in 2022, which he didn't. Yeah, he came back in week 12 and then played the rest of the season.
And he
We
got,
can't I just want to say something, Josh. We can't compare this offense. You said, "Oh, Greg Roman led this running attack." We can't. We can't compare the two. They had a Lamar Jackson.
Why not?
Because they had Lamar Jackson.
He still is known for having these great rushing attacks. He did it with the 49ers. He did it. I would say the Bills, but no, he didn't do it with the Bills.
No, he didn't do it with the Bills. No, he didn't. Nobody runs well with the Bills, which we'll get there later.
But no, I think there is going to be a good running attack, and if Isaiah Spiller doesn't fall off this depth chart and go somewhere and take off, like, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. In fantasy, I am taking a flyer at maybe if we're in a redraft, because I know you guys don't do redraft, last pick, or just taking a flyer on him in general. Because do I have to say it again? He's a
we don't
stud.
do redrafts.
I do redraft, Josh. It's not a lot of them.
We do redrafts. We
I
just
do,
don't
I
talk
only-
about redrafts until like September.
Oh, we're talking
August.
redraft right now. We're talking redraft right now, people, because this is talking about the 2024 season. Scott Fishbowl's right around the corner. I'm hyped for redraft, Justin. I've honestly changed my mindset. I hit a little switch. I'm kind of in redraft mode. I don't know why.
You should come up to Indy for our in-person draft.
I wish I could.
Or
I
Delaware
honestly
for
wish I
some
could.
reason.
I wish I would go to Delaware too. Anywhere but Tampa right now. Honestly, it's hot.
It was a nice 81 degrees, and it was beautiful out today. So
I went
it was
outside
not
for
like
5 seconds.
a hot
and I
81. It was a
sweat.
cool 81.
Oh crap. Okay, I just leave some of my notes. Let's move on to rushing yards. This one, don't tell me it's easy, folks. It's not. Saquon Barkley, 1,000.5 over under. This one's difficult. I don't care how you say it. I don't care if you think he's going to stay healthy or play the entire season. I don't care what you say. I am terrified of Saquon Barkley in this offense for 2 reasons. Hold on. For 2 reasons. Terrified because he may be the best running back in the league and scorch me because I'm not touching him anywhere because of the other reason. I'm scared he's going to get hurt. That's just it's baked in with Saquon. And I kind of don't want to risk a first or second round pick. I don't know ADPs right now in redraft. I just said I was into redraft season. Haven't checked ADPs. Don't know where he's going. But he's kind of scary to roster, especially that he's going to lose a lot of targets because he's not going to be needed to catch passes out of the backfield. So, Justin, over under 1,000.5.
Under. He's played one full season in his entire career. And he's only reached over 1,000 yards 3 times. 2 of them were his first 2 seasons. And then we had one in 2022 when he had 16. Mix that in with Jalen Hurts' rushing ability, where he did not have to compete against the quarterback for rushing in New York. I don't think he hits the over. I don't think he hits 1,000 yards this season.
Josh, you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I think he hits the over. It's Saquon. He doesn't have to be healthy in this offense because not only is he going into an offense with a better offensive line, because it does matter in football, which will equate to more rushing yards, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I think we could see a similar season to 2022 where he had 1,300 yards. I'm not going to necessarily say he's going to have 1,300 yards, but he could have that double-digit touchdown and over 1,000 yards. I think he's going to be really good this year.
I think he's going to be incredible this year.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's going to be incredible this year. I am currently on the clock in a league that me and Justin are in. Guess what? Guess who I'm taking right now?
Oh, shoot.
Say-
Who are you taking?
I took
taking
Saquon
Saquon.
Barkley. Yeah, I took Saquon. Took Saquon Barkley, and then I'm going to follow that up back-to-back picks with my boy Jalen Waddle.
In the 3rd. That's not bad. His ADP right now is 20 overall, so that's pretty good to get him at, 36?
Yeah, so you only need 58.9 rushing yards a game to reach 1,001. That's all you need. His career average is 70.4 yards per game. I know he has to play them all. I get that. I understand.
I might walk it back. I didn't look at DeAndre Swift's numbers last year.
So
Did
can
Swift
I talk?
get 1,000?
Can I talk
He
about
did.
that? Can I
If
talk
Swift can
about
hit
that?
1,000, then
I'm
I'm
shocked
going to
at
go
that.
with over on
Can
Saquon.
I talk about that?
No, you can't.
I was worried about his usage. Nick Sirianni is a complete moron. He doesn't know how to use his running backs. We saw week 1, DeAndre Swift drops a ball. He didn't get another carry the rest of the game. We saw the year before Miles Sanders did absolutely nothing the first half of the season. Every single game, it was like Miles Sanders, 2 carries, 4 yards at half. And then something would happen where he started using Miles Sanders. It was crazy. So I'm thinking, what is he going to do with Saquon Barkley? Well, then I looked at the numbers. Swift had 229 attempts, 1,049. He hit it. Miles Sanders, 259 attempts, 1,269 yards. Miles Sanders hit it. Those guys are like half the player that Saquon is. Let's be honest here. He's going to feast in this offense. This is going to be so good for A.J. Brown. This is going to be so good for Devontae Smith. And more importantly, it's going to be so good for Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts takes a big step this year. You're talking about MVP votes. Justin, one of you two said something about Josh?
I do, yep.
I think this is my pick. I think Jalen Hurts is my MVP this year going forward. This offense, I think if you take C.J. Stroud's offense, and I don't want to compare the two, which I'm going to. You take that offense, you take the Eagles offense. Just on paper alone, Saquon versus Mixon, Saquon wins. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith versus Stephon Diggs and their little Nico Collins and Tank Dell. I'm sorry, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith wins every time. You take Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, I think that's a wash. Now you go to the quarterback situation. Who's the better quarterback? Well, who can do both? Jalen Hurts can do both.
Is the better quarterback.
He's a better quarterback. I agree with that. The passer. Who's a better player? Who's a better athlete? Who's better when it comes down to it?
I'll take the better quarterback. Who's the better athlete? Jalen Hurts or Pat Mahomes? Who are you going to take?
Mahomes is a freaking freak, dude. Like, he's a really freaky athlete.
But he's not an athlete that can run straight line like Jalen Hurts can.
You're right. You're right about that.
Who are you going to take between that? Like, you're going to take Pat Mahomes. I would take C.J. Stroud in that situation.
You might be right. You honestly, he's a better thrower, better passer. I want to see more from him. I want to see just more than 1 year. But Jalen Hurts can do in that offense. We've seen what he can do. So all this is lining up to a freaking perfect season for Philadelphia, and I'm hating it. I'm hating life right now. But I'm going the over on Saquon, and I'm drafting him everywhere. I don't care. I think he's going to be stellar this year.
What is a better combination? Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, or Derrick Henry and can't think of his name right now.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, yeah.
Justin, I'm going to defer to you on that one.
Give me the people again.
Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Jalen Hurts, Saquon.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... I'm going to go with Jalen and Saquon, specifically because Jalen's got the better wide receiver core, so his passing yards are going to be higher. Lamar is great, and Derrick Henry has to eventually, like, pop his tires, right? Like, he's got to eventually stop running the ball so hard like he does all the time. But, yeah, if I have to pick the combo, I'm going to go with Jalen with the outside factors of a slightly better offensive line, better wide receiver core, just a better offense.
You know, at first I'm like Lamar, Derrick Henry, because Lamar's just a total different game changer. You can't really duplicate or replicate what he does on the field. But I'm sitting there thinking as Justin's talking, but I've never seen him step in the pocket and like throw a dart and consistently. Now, we've seen him the plays. We've seen him throw it to Rashad Bateman and Bateman drop it. We've seen him throw it on a line to Zay Flowers, and we've seen all that. But we haven't seen a consistent game. At least I haven't. And if I'm wrong, please correct me in the chat, or Josh or Justin, where he's down 10 in the fourth quarter, and he had to lead a team back. I haven't seen that yet from Lamar Jackson. So he did it. So it's possible. So
on Monday Night Football, they were down
against
so much against the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. Well, you got me there.
This is a Carson Wentz led Colts. So
Carson Wentz was.
He was good. He just couldn't get a clean pocket and had to run around the entire time. And
yeah, he had a bad offensive line that year.
Yeah.
But do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where like I feel like Jalen Hurts can step in the pocket, throw it deep to A.J. Brown, and hit him in stride. Where when Lamar,
I think Lamar can do that too.
I think he can, but I want to see him more consistent, and maybe having a new offense around him, a better offense coordinator, everything around him might be better for him. I'm just saying it might work. And plus, you can't compare the two. Lamar's got Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman Whereas Jalen Hurts has AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, like legitimately 2 top 15 guys in the league. It's hard to beat that. I'm going over. That being said, next, this one is a former Colts, and this one's like the biggest question mark in the world. I feel like no one's talking about Zach Moss going into redraft season. I don't even know where he's being drafted right now, but he's, whether you like it or not, the starting running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. They paid him 2 years, $8 million. He's going to be the starting running back.
92 overall. He's RB 26 in ADP.
He might be the steal of the draft because I don't see anyone. People want to talk about Chase Brown. That might be true. Chase Brown might be the guy at the end of the year or sooner rather than later. But right now it's Zach Moss. And if he's going in the 9th round, 10th round, he might be a running back. We saw it last year with Indianapolis. He was awesome. He was stellar. You saw it, Justin. Did you? People were saying, why do we need Jonathan Taylor? Right? People were saying that. Don't be rolling your eyes. You know, people were saying that. Smart people were.
I think a lot of people would have preferred to have Jonathan Taylor from the start. But yes, he did score a lot of fantasy points in the first 5 weeks. I mean, he had 6 weeks of the season because he missed the first week because with his broken forearm. He had 4 double-digit games, 3 of which were over 20, 1 of which was 33.5 points. He had a great season. He also was behind a pretty good offensive line last year with the rush attack. So he's going to the Bengals, who historically do not have a good offensive line. They have a new offensive. Well, they still have the head coach that's still calling the plays, but there is no competition. I mean, you got Chase Brown and Chris Evans,
Trayvon Williams,
and Trayvon Williams competing for RB1. So you anticipate Zach Moss being the RB1. So if you get your RB1 and pick 92, it's pretty good value. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about his ADP. We're talking about 6.5 rushing touchdowns, where last year he only got 5. Great season, 5 rushing touchdowns.
He scored a 7 overall, though.
7 overall, yep, but we're not talking about 7 overall.
I just want to throw that out there. Like,
we're talking about rushing touchdowns. He had 5.
When did Anthony Richardson go out?
Week 2.
Week
Was it 2?
Week 3.
5. Week 5.
Week 5.
It felt like so earlier.
So week 1, 2, 3, and 4, Zach Moss, not Zach Spiller. His stats: 88 yards, 122 yards, 70 yards, 165. And then after, I assume week 5, early on in that game, he went out, correct, Anthony?
Yeah, and then Zach Moss ended up with 2 touchdowns that game.
That was week 4.
That was week 5.
Week 4.
It's Tennessee.
Yeah.
Josh, you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, I'm looking at Houston, Baltimore, LA Rams, Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, week 5, he had 2 touchdowns.
Did you guys have an early bye week?
We had a late bye week. We had.
All right, I'm gonna look it up. This is ridiculous.
9-17 Houston, 9-24 Baltimore, 10-1 LA Rams, 10-8
bye week on here.
Tennessee. That's week 4. So week 4 he had a great game. And then week 5, Jacksonville, he had 21 yards. And then after that, 57, 66, 26, 2, 55, 51, 28, 13, and 30. So I would think he elevated because he had a running quarterback who elevated that offense. So I am going to go with the under here. And I don't think he will be the starter by year's end.
Who is going to be the starter? That's a good question.
That was week 5. Looking at it again, it's week 5. We had a week 6, 7.
Doesn't
8,
matter.
9, 10,
Guys,
week 11 bye. But yeah. Anyways.
We'll talk about this after and say how I'm right. But I think it's going to be a mixture of. I think Chris Evans is in the mix there. Chase Brown. I just don't think Zach Moss is going to be he'll start out as the full-time starter, and then it's going to become a committee there.
I mean, what was his competition in Buffalo? That's the thing. Like, he was supposed to be like a good running back in Buffalo, and he didn't do anything. and then he went to the Colts, and then he finally did something in year 2 with the Colts. Was it the Colts and Shane Steichen? Was it that offensive line that he was running behind that got him where he was? But I mean, if we're talking touchdowns still, he's never hit more than 5 touchdowns in the season. I don't foresee him doing that again this season either.
Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, hold on, guys. You guys are disrespecting Zach Moss. I would like to see a study of running backs that leave Buffalo that have a better life. Marshawn Lynch, right? We had who's recently Devin Singletary left. He had a really good season last year. I know there's been more. Buffalo's where running backs go to die. We saw Zach Moss for the first time out of that prison they call Buffalo, and we saw him flourish for the first time in forever. Through week 7, he was averaging 91.1 yards total yards overall. That's really good for a running back, whether you're Zach Moss, whether you're CMC, whether who you are. It's really good for running backs. I don't think he's going to be as bad as you guys think in the Cincinnati offense, who is a slow pacing offense. Slow, methodical, boring. Zach Moss is made for this kind of offense. He breaks tackles. I know it's not like up there with the Derrick Henrys or the Najee Harrises or the Travis Etiennes, but he was in the top 15 of yards after contact. He can get in there. Now, if you get to the goal line, who else they got? Joe Mixon scored all the touchdowns because that's all they did. Run up the middle. They're not going to go. They might throw a couple fades to Jamar Chase or whoever it may be. But honestly, when they get inside the 5, they run the ball. It's just a fact. That being said, it's not going to happen. He's going to go under because you're asking 7 touchdowns from Zach Moss. 7? Come on, DraftKings. If this was 5.5, I'm smashing you over because I think he scores 6. But I do not see him scoring 7. I know that's a fine line, but it's not going to happen. But I would draft him. Great value. Amazing value.
Yeah, I would draft him way late in the draft too, because at this point, everybody. I saw something on Twitter maybe last week. It was like, does anybody remember Zach Moss, the RB1 for the Bengals? What's he doing in the draft?
Yeah, I didn't know where he played until I saw the draft. I was going through the DraftKings. I'm like, Zach Moss, he plays for them. Cool, I guess.
They signed him, and then literally like maybe 2 hours later, they traded Mixon to the Texans. That's who they got. Oh man, I forgot about Mixon.
I said that earlier. I just said that. I compared.
Well, you think I listened to you during the show? Come on.
You should, because I'm smart. All right, next DK. What was that, Josh?
No,
We're not smart.
We're
not smart.
I didn't have water, just like Justin early on in the show.
DK Metcalf, 1005. This one's also difficult. If you guys say it's not difficult, then you don't know DK Metcalf. That guy's up and down. I'm gonna start with you, Josh, because I know you're a big DK Metcalf fan.
Yeah, he's hitting the over here.
You say it like it's gonna happen. Like
it's going to happen. You're saying he's so up and down. He has hit it 3 out of his 5 seasons. Like he's hitting the over. He's turning into, or is, wide receiver 1 there. He's getting the targets. He hit the over last year with only 66 receptions. Like he's balling out, and he's hitting the over here, and the only way he doesn't is if he gets hurt.
I am afraid of JSN.
It would take JSN to have a monster breakout season for DK to be in trouble here.
That's what we hope, right? We hope he does. We want JSN to succeed, right? Or are we just on the fail train already?
No, you want him to succeed. It's just we're talking a massive sophomore like leap here to get DK to be affected by that. Again, 66 receptions got him over the 1,000 mark last year, and not just 1,002 yards, 1,114 yards.
Yeah. Do we expect him to convert those air yards again? I did some deep dive in, and I looked at the air yards, and he had 12th in total air yards, 1,583. Now I looked at this advanced stat. Thank you to my guys at My Fantasy Life. Chris Allen over there showed me this awesome site that has all this stuff down there. It's awesome. It really is. I didn't know this stuff existed until I actually went on the site. So check that site out. But he converted 70% of those air yards into real yardage. They're able to calculate that. I don't know how. In comparison, DeAndre Hopkins was 21st in air yards, right? Shocking. He only converted 53 of those yards. 70 is pretty high. Like compared to the rest, I wish I wrote down everyone else's. 70 was astronomically high compared to the other people converting their air yards into real life yards. So if he does come down with the 66 targets like you guys stated and converted those again, it's highly unlikely. It's kind of like he stole Geno Smith's lucky potion and he was the one drinking it last year. I'm a DK fan. I'm not a hater on him like you guys are, but I do expect JSN to get involved. They didn't waste a first-round pick on this kid to let him sit behind Tyler Lockett forever again. It's just not possible. And if that's possible, if that's what they did, then they messed up. And they need to trade him or get rid of somebody because it's ridiculous. DK Metcalf,
he could take over Tyler Lockett's position and get 900 yards like Tyler Lockett did last year. They could literally flop. So JSN could still have a good year and DK could still get way over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he could get way over 1,000 yards, or he can hit just under it. 3 out of 5 isn't automatic, Josh. Still not perfect. That's still.
Or are we looking at him as he's basically T.O.? Is he not?
Yeah, he is. It's a good comparison.
I'm not betting against a young T.O. when it comes to those numbers.
I don't want to bet against him either. But what about the quarterback situation? Who are they rolling out there this year?
Geno.
I don't care. He's going to get a ton of targets. He only
a ton of targets.
117 last year. I think he increases 150 this year.
There's no way he's getting 150, dude.
There ain't no way.
There ain't no way.
All
there
day,
ain't no
every
way.
day, buddy.
There ain't no way.
All day, every day.
There ain't no way. I'm fighting that one. You know why? Because I keep on bringing his name up. It's like
JSN. No one cares about JSN.
If you have a pie, Josh, and there's a pie, you know what a pie is? It's a circle thing that your grandma used to make and she puts on the windowsill. If you cut into that pie, you go, okay, well, Josh gets this slice. Other Josh gets this slice.
And now they're going to say too many slices for DK Metcalf.
JSN goes, hey, I'm getting bigger. I'm growing. I need a bigger slice. And Tyler Lockett's like, guys, I've been here for years. I'm tenured. I still get my slice. No. Someone's slice has to shrink.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett's slice.
Tyler Lockett.
Shrinks.
That's literally the answer. He's 31
Jackson,
years old.
Smith, and
he's the guy.
Hating on Tyler Lockett, but Tyler Lockett always comes through.
No one's hating. It's fact of life. I mean, he's 31. He's aging. You didn't see T.Y. Hilton at age 31 going, hey, give me my 1,500 yards. No, that's not what.
Don't compare.
That's not what veterans do.
Lockett's way better than T.Y. Hilton.
And there's nothing underneath of them. Absolutely nothing.
I'm still going over. Just want to say that.
They got Jake Bobo.
Dude, why are we arguing about this? Josh, you're the worst.
Someone has to put the facts out here, like the counterpoints, just for all my DK haters. There's DK haters out there. There is. And I don't understand why, but there are DK haters out there.
Honestly, when I saw the over-under here, I was like, oh, this is under. And then I looked at the stats and was like, wait, what am I talking about? There's no way he hits under this.
You guys really think Tyler Lockett hit his second highest target mark last year, 122. He's shown no signs of slowing down. The only signs he's shown of slowing down, honestly, is he doesn't have the deep ball with Russ anymore because Geno doesn't have that. He just throws it up the DK, which is totally fine. I'm here for that. But it's not like he lost targets dramatically. He didn't lose. He didn't go down in target share or anything. Tyler Lockett's here to stay. So honestly, at least for one last season, he's here to stay. He's not going. He's going up in targets year after year, not down. And that plays the Geno's game.
I would instead of putting money on this one, I would put money on where Tyler Lockett and JSN's numbers are flipped this year.
I would hope. I honestly would hope. I'm rooting for that.
I mean, JSN still had 93 targets last year, and Lockett had 30 more targets, 29 more than he did, and JSN still only came down with 16 less. So he had 29 less targets, but ended up with 16 less receptions.
Hey.
I literally could see those two numbers just flipping this year.
When there's more mouths to feed, guys, and you guys should know this. You guys do know this. The upside's limited. It's not like DK's going to come out and get 150 targets. No disrespect, Josh. That's just never going to happen.
I could see 130.
I can see 132, but 130 is not guaranteed 1,000. But I do think he gets there because he's a freak athlete, and I think he's awesome. Next.
He gets there.
Next,
Last one.
last one, and we'll wrap this bad boy up. Big Mike Evans, 9.5 receiving touchdowns. This I honestly wasn't gonna write stats. I was just gonna write always bet the over with Big Mike. That's it. You never not bet the over. He's gonna get his 1,000 yards. He's gonna get his 9 touchdowns. But will he get his 10 touchdowns? Who wants to go first?
Do you want me to go first? I'll go first.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm going to hit the under because I don't trust Baker Mayfield. And I know Baker Mayfield is a hot topic on this podcast. So
I'm clipping this.
Come after
I
me.
haven't clipped an episode in a long time.
I don't trust Baker Mayfield. He just got his 3 years, $100 million contract, and he's gonna not be as good this year. Promise you that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the under here.
You're gonna get hated on. You're gonna get death threats.
Come at me.
We didn't sleep for days because of these people.
Yeah,
I slept fine.
because you're marshmallowy.
Wingate's not going to get any hate off of that. It's going to be us getting the hate for what Wingate said.
Well,
Mike Evans has hit double-digit touchdowns half of his career, 5 out of the 10 seasons. 5 out of 10 seasons. 3 of which have been in the last 4.
With Brady. But I understand your point,
Brady.
Justin. Mike Evans is a complete stud, whether it be catching a deep ball, going. Mike Evans is the king of having 0 catches, 0 yards, and then it's the fourth quarter with like 8 minutes to go. Hold on, no, it's 8 minutes or 3 minutes to go, and then boom, 2 80-yard bombs, and then there we go. Mike Evans just did it again, or the classic, 2 catches, 2 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I'm gonna take the over on his touchdowns. Mostly because who else is Baker going to throw it to? I mean, yes, I know Chris Godwin is there. But
Disrespect.
Chris Godwin hasn't fantasy relevant in a couple years.
He's from Delaware, by the way.
Is he really?
Yep.
He had 2 touchdowns last year.
I'm watching your.
He's
Delaware
not taking
guy
touchdowns he's not taking touchdowns from Mike Evans. So Mike Evans apparently has looked even better in camp this year after getting that money. I would expect Mike Evans to hit 10 touchdowns this year.
Don't sleep on this McMillan kid. They've been hyping him up.
Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan.
McMillan's been hyped. Yeah, they just brought in Sterling Shep. Baker personally got him to come to Tampa Bay. That's not by accident. This is Chris Godwin's last year, by the way. He's on a contract year. We all know what happens on contract years. They do show up.
Cade Otton, don't forget about him.
Yeah, don't forget about Cade Otton. And let's not forget about this. Let's not forget. This is real analysis. Analysts. They don't have a banger at running back. So when they get down to the 5, who are they going to rely on?
Well, they do have Bucky Irvin. They do have Bucky Irvin.
Are you a Bucky Irvin fan?
I am. Bucky Irvin's a stud.
How big is he?
He's big. He's not that big, but he's runs like he is.
He runs big. Yeah, I've drafted him.
5'10", 195.
Yeah,
he's smaller than me.
I'm taller than him.
He's a haul to take down.
He's pretty good.
I'm a big fan of Bucky, but what I'm saying is when they get down to the 5, you don't have that power thumper. You just don't. So what they do is they're going to run fades of Big Mike, and that's what Baker's going to do because Baker is a beast.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
We're a Baker-friendly podcast. We love Baker Mayfield. You should too. You know what else you should do? You should follow all of us on Twitter at Josh Kimball OUS, at Justin Barrelly. Wingate's not on Twitter anymore. He's retired. Are you? I don't see you anymore. I don't see you.
I'm all over Twitter.
Oh, yeah? You're a Twitter superstar?
Yeah.
And you could also follow at Finstock Sports Network and at OUSFFpod.com as well. God, Justin, I'm losing.
Josh, you haven't tweeted since April.
Bullshit, I tweeted today.
No, I'm sorry, Wingate. You haven't tweeted since April.
All over Twitter.
Dude, isn't it like...
It's like the draft ended and Josh was like, I'm done for the year. I'll see you next year.
Dude, we can have a whole discussion about how healthy your life is now.
Yeah. Quick question: who came up with this lineup of a show?
Thanks, Dave.
The over-unders?
He didn't even show up.
Yeah,
he didn't even show up. He didn't even show up.
It's the Dave Campbell show.
Is that his name? Dirtbag.
Dirtbag Dave. Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't even show up. to his own show. But this is okay. We expect it. Next week, we do have a better show booked for you. We have a guest off of Schneid.
Oh, better show booked for you.
Well,
Appreciate
because
that, bud.
What a guess this week. What are you talking about?
Appreciate that, bud.
What I mean is, we're gonna have it professionally made with a whole. This is the first show I haven't even looked at an outline, because you know what, we can vibe, Josh. This is just like the old time. I miss you.
We did
gotta
not.
get you-
This is the first show since producer Jacob came around that we did not have any show notes, and probably can
show
tell.
notes or anything. I think we're doing good, Justin. I think
did
you're
good.
self-doubting yourself. Okay, but until next time, we are talking rookie ADP next week. This is the show you should have had, Just.
Yeah.
Oh, can you put? Dave said bye week. Peek behind the curtain, and I thought this was real life. I said, "We go. What are we talking about, Dave?" Dave puts a gif of like Donald Duck sleeping, and I'm like, "Oh shit, we're doing sleepers." Like I thought for sure we were doing sleepers. I'm like, I am down for sleepers, and then nobody responded. I'm like, I guess we're not doing sleepers. So, but thank you, Dave, for the contribution this week. Again, follow us everywhere on X. Follow the show. Until next week, guys. Oh wait, I didn't even do the music.
You didn't even play the music.
Hold on. Let me reset.
We were doing
Cut.
so good.
Cut.
We were doing so good.
It's June. We need to take a week off. We need to take a vacation, but we're not doing that. We're here for you. We got to get you ready for Fish Bowl.
We've got
ready for
guests.
Warrior Bowl. We got guests. We're talking best ball. We're talking ADP. We're talking over unders. Where else are you going to give this? Where else? Dave says no one cares about CJ Stroud and his yards. In Dave's world, no one cares. We all care.
We appreciate your input there, Dave.
Dave, you're the man of the hour. Great show. Until next week, guys. Let's get out of here.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.